Today, you ever wanted to see a movie actually based on the Resident Evil games? This is CheckPoint.
Welcome to CheckPoint, where last night, both of our internet connections were out until 2 a.m. What'd you get up to without the internet, Graham?
I slept.
Really?
Yeah, I have a child who has to get up in the morning, so I get up in the morning.
Oh.
Why? What did you do?
I got on my phone and tried to reason out how Ryza, from Atelier Ryza 2, how Ryza's $25,000 life-size statue could have both thick thighs and an impossible thigh gap.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad you weren't wasting your time. People aren't going to movies much right now due to the whole airborne pandemic sitch we've got going on, but new movies are still being made, even video game movies. And speaking of not great movies, the Resident Evil movie franchise is getting rebooted with new writer-director Johannes Roberts at the helm to make a movie that, quote, brings the terrifying, visceral experience of the first two games whilst at the same time telling a grounded human story about a small dying American town that feels both relatable and relevant to today's audiences. This is also not to be confused with the upcoming Netflix live-action TV series and the upcoming animated movie that looks like an in-game cutscene. But don't shed any tears for Paul W.S. Anderson and Mila Jovovich, the previous writer, director, and star, respectively, of the six... Really? They got six? Six movie franchise. They've both moved on to a different Capcom property, Monster Hunter. And their live-action adaptation of that video game has had its theatrical release moved up from April 2021 to December 2020, which has got to be a bad sign, right?
Riot closed down their office in Sydney, Australia, because it was primarily supporting the Oceanic Pro League. Oh yeah, they shut that down too. If you're a Pro League player playing League with the pros, well, now you have to find another league in which to play League with other pros. I hate the name of that fucking game, it's so confusing. Also, Activision Blizzard is closing their France office soon, following 134 firings months ago, because when you close a branch office in another country, it's always important to get your feet wet first, right? But now, Activision Blizzard is just closing the office outright, because the original plan was to relocate most of that workforce to the London, England office. A fine idea when Brexit has spent years hanging over the EU like a sword of Damocles. Now they've mixed in a little, oh no, actually it's COVID-19 with their justification and have decided to motor on without returning any requests for comments. Not from us, mind you. Remember, we're not actual news. We called a U.S. Senator's office once and his assistant was not interested in giving us a comment on the record. We just make the news more fun to listen to. Here's an example. Activision Blizzard has also been making, quote, record results, unquote. There's massive pay inequality between top executives and everyone working in QA and customer service, and CEO Bobby Kotick is still making substantially more than most other CEOs in the video game industry. See? Fun!
It's still more than a month away from release, but if you've ever caught yourself wondering what's all up inside a PS5, Sony has the answer. In a Teardown video posted by Sony themselves, and completely undercutting a whole subset of tech YouTubers in their inevitable "I disassembled my PS5" videos, Sony's VP of Mechanical Design Yasuhiro Otori voided the manufacturer's warranty, so you don't have to, by rendering the monolithic console down into all of its constituent parts. And I do mean monolithic, because the two most interesting things that everyone learned from this video was the supremely clever design of the console's adjustable stand with its special little compartment for storing the screw in, and the absolute size of this lad. Not Otare-san, he was simply the benchmark for this image, which I'm calling PlayStation 5 stands erect beside full-sized adult man. Look at this thing. That's not going to fit in my entertainment unit. It barely looks like it could dock at Cloud City. I was just watching that YouTube video comparing spaceship sizes, and I'm pretty sure this slots in somewhere between the Battlestar Galactica and Red Dwarf. But it's also got a heat sink for its heat sink, special holes for vacuuming the dust out, and probably makes a great vroom when you boot it up, so sure, I'm sold.
Okay, my last story was all about the closures, and it was a little doom and gloom. So how about a story with a little more whimsy? How about a story about something opening? Super Nintendo World at Universal Studios Japan is now set to open in spring 2021, and to tease its impending arrival in 6 months? Nintendo has also shared some renders of the park's Mario Cafe and store, which is opening on October 16th. This year. Guess the pandemic's over, so let's take a look. Looks pretty... Yeah, but hey, let's look at some food photos. Oh, that's pretty neat. Graham, I'm not sure what's happening, but looking at pictures of whipped cream-filled novelties isn't exciting to me at all. Did this not count as news?
Not really, no.
No, bamboozled.
You ever get tripped up by a PlayStation game that insists that circle is the button to confirm an action despite the fact that we all know that X is the one true confirmation choice? Well, good news, that's not going to happen once the PS5 launches, because after 26 years, Sony is finally bringing its button mapping in line with the rest of the world, meaning X will be the confirm button. Predictably, some people in Japan are extremely mad, but only mostly unreasonably. According to an extremely helpful explanation from Kotaku's Brian Ashcraft, in Japan, circle, or maru, means okay in Japanese, making it the obvious choice for the button you push to make things happen. Meanwhile, the X button is the batsu botan, or cross button, and batsu can also mean no or not available. So that all makes perfect sense. But it also makes sense for Sony to try and make all the buttons mean the same things, no matter if you're playing in America or in Japan. And in Japan, X is already the confirmation button of choice if you're using a controller on PC, thanks to Steam. But don't worry, Japanese Maru stands. It took Sony a mere 4 years after the PS4 launched to give users the ability to swap the functions of the X and O button, so look forward to that on the PS5 in 2024.
2024 is also a leap year, so maybe it'll be the year I can finally leap home.
Beej, you'd tell me if you were actually Scott Bakula from Donald P. Bellisario's 1989 science fiction TV series Quantum Leap, right?
Al, I've been rumbled. Coming up, early concept art from Among Us has revealed that the beloved bean-like crew members could have looked like slightly pointier beans or slightly rounder beans. So good job nailing it on the first try, I guess. 2024 is also a leap year, so fuck it.
Beej, you tell me if you were going to fuck it.
Al, fuck it!
Al.
Go on, Al.
Put that down.
Put Ziggy down.
Al. Ziggy?
That's the name of the thing, right?
Oh, right.
Yeah. This is like, Ziggy, I need you to do whatever. Did you not watch Quantum Leap?
It's been a while.